Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India. I'm Gautam Roy and this is Express News, the show where we get you the day's top 100 developments from the country and the world in under 30 minutes. Let's begin. President Draupadi Murmu extended greetings to all fellow citizens on the occasion of Guru Nanak Jayanti. In a social media post, the president said, "This occasion inspires all to adopt the ideals and values of Guru Nanak Dev." In his social media post, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also extended his greetings on the occasion of Kartik Purnima and Dev Deepavali to all citizens across the country. He wished that the divine occasion would bring happiness, peace and health as well as prosperity to everyone. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said India and Japan have agreed to work closely to implement the joint vision for the next decade cooperation between the two countries. Addressing the 8th India-Japan Indo-Pacific Forum on Wednesday, the External Affairs Minister said that both the nations have more responsibility towards the Indo-Pacific. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has arrived in Auckland to hold discussions with his New Zealand counterpart Todd McClay on the ongoing free trade agreement negotiations between the two nations. The fourth round of India-New Zealand FTA negotiations commenced in Auckland on the 3rd of November, marking an important step in deepening the bilateral trade and economic dialogue between the two nations. India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Pavitra Margarita, is visiting Ecuador in the first leg of his 3 Latin American and Caribbean nations visit. He met representatives from the Ecuadorian business community in Quito on Wednesday. India's Defence Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh met Israeli Defence Minister Israel Katz in Tel Aviv on Tuesday. Both the sides reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening the long-standing defence partnership between India and Israel. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri met UK National Security Advisor Jonathan Powell and Deputy NSA Matthew Collins in London on Tuesday. The two sides discussed ways to advance the India-UK Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. The Indian Army flagged off a national integration tour under Operation Sadbhavana in North India's Ladakh. The initiative encouraged students from remote areas to explore India's unity and cultural diversity. INS Ikshak is all set to be commissioned on Thursday in Kochi. The ceremony would be presided over by Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh Kumar Tripathi. In India's central state, Chhattisgarh, near Bilaspur station, railway authorities are conducting swift relief and rescue operations following an unexpected incident. Senior officials are on site overseeing the situation closely to ensure timely assistance. Dedicated helpline numbers have also been issued to support affected passengers and their families. In Jammu and Kashmir, an encounter broke out between security forces and terrorists early Wednesday morning in Chatru area of Kishtwar district. The Indian Army in a social media post said its troops in coordination with J&K police have engaged with terrorists in the Chatru area during an intelligence-based operation. India's Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal arrived in Bahrain for the King Hamad Lecture, an international commercial courts conference highlighting India's push for fair transnational commercial justice. India's Ministry of New and Renewable Energy will host the International Green Hydrogen Conference 2025 in New Delhi on the 11th and 12th of this month. Key ministers and global delegates will discuss production, infrastructure, financing and technology to boost India's green hydrogen mission. Bihar votes tomorrow in the first phase of the assembly elections for 121 constituencies across 18 districts. Over 3.75 crore voters will decide the fate of 1,314 candidates, including women, a transgender candidate and first-time entrants. India's Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange are closed on Wednesday for Guru Nanak Jayanti, with trading across equity, derivatives and currency segments suspended for the day. Indian giants Amul and IFFCO have been ranked as the world's top cooperatives by the International Cooperative Alliance's World Cooperative Monitor 2025. Telangana has launched the Telangana Artificial Intelligence Innovation Hub in Hyderabad to position the state among the world's top 20 AI hubs by 2035. Kirloskar Ferrous Industries is planning to invest $360 million to expand its Hiriyur plant in Karnataka over the next 3 years. Chip giant NVIDIA has joined the India Deep Tech Alliance alongside US and Indian investors such as Qualcomm, as the coalition has secured over $850 million in new commitments. NVIDIA and Deutsche Telekom will jointly launch a $1.1 billion industrial AI cloud center next year, aiming to build a secure and sovereign European AI infrastructure. Car maker Ferrari reported a stronger than expected 5% rise in third quarter core earnings to €670 million, driven by robust pricing and demand. Asian stocks tumbled on Wednesday, with markets in Japan, South Korea and Taiwan hit hard after Wall Street's sharp sell-off reignited fears of overvaluation. South Korean shares saw their steepest drop in 7 months on Wednesday as institutional investors raised concerns over high global stock valuations, with major tech stocks like Samsung and SK Hynix leading the decline. US stocks also fell sharply on Tuesday as warnings from top bank CEOs about overvalued markets and a potential bubble triggering a broad sell-off, with tech and AI-driven shares leading the decline. In the US, the first major election since Donald Trump's return to the presidency have sent ripples across the nation as Democrats scored a trio of big wins, reigniting hopes ahead of the 2026 congressional midterms. The biggest was in New York City, where Zohran Mamdani, Democratic Socialist, won the mayoral race. Mamdani outlasted former Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo, who ran as an independent after losing the nomination to Mamdani earlier this year. Democrat Abigail Spanberger will be the first woman to run the U.S. state of Virginia after her party won back the governor's mansion from Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin. She is a former CIA officer and a moderate 3-term congresswoman and beat Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. In New Jersey, another Democrat, Mickey Sherrill, won the election for governor. She defeated Republican Jack Catrelli and will succeed Democrat Governor Phil Murphy. Also among the major outcomes on Election Day 2025 in the US was the passing of Proposition 50 in California. This proposal was for redrawing of the map for constituencies in the state's Congress. President Donald Trump reacted to Republican losses in elections across the United States on Tuesday night, citing unspecified pollsters who attributed the loss to the ongoing government shutdown and Trump not leading the ballot. The US Supreme Court will hear arguments on Wednesday in a pair of challenges to President Trump's power to impose sweeping tariffs on virtually all goods imported into the US. Trump has defended the administration's use of tariffs to balance global trade flows, citing years of high duties charged by other countries on US imports. Trump called the Supreme Court hearing a matter of life or death for the United States. The current US government shutdown has become the longest in history on Wednesday, crossing the 36-day mark with no end in sight. Republican and Democratic senators remained at loggerheads over restarting funding to shuttered federal departments. The US Senate failed for the 14th time to advance a House-passed continuing resolution to end the stalemate on Tuesday. The vote was 54-44, with no New Democrats crossing the aisle to advance it. Trump has been closely monitoring the situation in Nigeria over Christian killings. The White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt highlighted the possibility of launching military strikes in the country. Israel confirmed that remains handed over by the Hamas late on Tuesday belong to an Israeli-American national seized by the Hamas. 19-year-old Chen, a dual U.S. citizen served as a combat soldier in the 77th Battalion of the 7th Brigade. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said on Tuesday that he will discuss Venezuela's issues and the increased U.S. military presence in Latin America at the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States Summit later this month. Belgium's Brussels and Liège airports were closed on Tuesday evening as drone sightings had diverted many incoming planes and prevented others from taking off. The airport reopened after 2 hours. The death toll in a U.S. cargo plane crash has risen to 7. The American cargo airline plane, bound for Hawaii, crashed shortly after takeoff from Louisville International Airport in Kentucky. In Bosnia, 10 people were killed, around 20 were injured in a fire which broke out in a nursing home in the town of Tuzla late Tuesday. Firefighters and emergency medical services were quickly dispatched to evacuate residents. Back in the U.S., opening arguments began in Chicago on Wednesday in the first civil trial against U.S. aviation giant Boeing over the 2019 crash of an Ethiopian Airlines 737 MAX aircraft, which killed 157 people. French judicial authorities said they had opened an investigation into Chinese social media platform TikTok and the risks that its algorithms could pose to young people to commit suicide. Iran has released 2 French nationals imprisoned there for more than 3 years in an apparent exchange for an Iranian student who was conditionally freed in October. In Serbia, anti-government demonstrators gathered outside Parliament building on Tuesday as the year-old anti-government protest movement continued amid public anger over the Novi Sad railway station canopy collapse. Time now for a quick break in Express News. The rest will follow in just a bit. Stay tuned.
Tell us whether the British were really interested in religion, or was this all about politics?
The British wanted to know as much about it as they could. But what they got was not necessarily a truly accurate reflection of the lived reality. It doesn't matter what your religion is as long as the man is good.
I cannot not ask you about the Kerala story, that contentious, controversial movie.
It really was not just propaganda, it was just blatantly false.
Desh Ki Mitti captures the deep connection that Indians everywhere feel with the country's soil. But today, this land and the communities that directly depend on it both face grave threats. We uncover stories of innovation and resilience that are trying to safeguard this soil for the future generations.
When we follow what the scientists recommend, we end up spending less. I now use less fertilizers, but I'm getting better yields.
These kinds of structures, they actually help keep the water in the landscape, allowing it to sort of seep into the groundwater and contribute to maintaining groundwater level.
99% of the cases that I've seen, cause for urgency is not satisfied.
The project is innovative. They are maintaining our beach like a clean city.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. Let's carry on. Typhoon Kalmegi has claimed the lives of at least 66 people in the Philippines since its landfall on Tuesday. Day-to-day life has been devastated for people across affected regions. Cebu remains the hardest hit province as more than 200,000 people have been evacuated across the Visayas region. Typhoon Kalmegi continues to batter parts of Palawan Island on Wednesday as it heads towards the South China Sea. A powerful 6.2 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Indonesia's Sulawesi Island on Wednesday. The country's geophysics agency confirmed that the quake took place in offshore waters. Indonesia's geophysics agency assured the people that there was no scope for a tsunami triggered by the earthquake off the coast of the Sulawesi Island. The Indian Meteorological Department has forecast thunderstorm with lightning over Konkan, Goa and parts of Maharashtra on Wednesday and Thursday. Thunderstorm with lightning is also likely over northeastern states of Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura on Wednesday, according to the National Weather Agency. The Met Department has also forecast light to moderate rainfall and thunderstorm over Tamil Nadu on Wednesday and Thursday. Isolated heavy rainfall may also be observed. The Weather Department anticipated no significant change in minimum temperatures over northwest and central India during the next 48 hours. However, a gradual fall by 2 to 4 degrees Celsius during subsequent 3 to 4 days is likely. For East India, a gradual fall in temperature by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius is likely in the next 3 days, following which no significant change is expected for the next 3 to 4 days, according to the National Weather Forecaster. Dev Deepavali, also called the Festival of Lights of Gods, is being celebrated today in Varanasi, where the ghats are lit with millions of diyas or lamps as devotees mark the sacred full moon of Kartik. In Odisha, thousands of devotees gathered early this morning to take the holy Kartik Purnima bath, marking the end of the sacred Hindu month of Kartik. The festival, also known as Dev Diwali, holds deep religious significance as devotees take ritual dips in sacred rivers. Guru Nanak Jayanti, also known as Gurpurab, is being celebrated on Wednesday, marking the birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of Sikhism and the first Sikh Guru. A miniature artist from Odisha has entered the Guinness Book of World Records by crafting the world's smallest wooden spoon, just 0.013 meters long. The spoon took over 3 years to complete. The 73rd Jagat Dharti Puja Mela in Odisha honors goddess Jagat Dharti, symbolizing strength and triumph of good over evil. The 3-decade-old fair draws thousands with art, craft, performances and a pavilion inspired by Telangana Secretariat. A large number of devotees gathered at Bindusagar Lake in Odisha to celebrate the state's maritime heritage. Devotees floated Boito Bandana, miniature boats made of paper and banana leaves, as an offering. In Poland, a Water Sense, an AI-powered device that uses paper sensors to track river health in real time, has won the Global Sustainability Prize at the James Dyson Awards. In Vietnam, an international workshop was held on Tuesday at the National Museum of History to discuss 15 years of research at the Thang Long Imperial Citadel site. Experts highlighted its global cultural significance and explored new ways to interpret and promote heritage. In Australia, a university is teaching design students how to make garments that can be felt, moved and even heard, ensuring fashion is inclusive for the visually impaired. The focus is to make clothing accessible beyond just visual appeal. In Peru's Amazon, over 6,500 Taricaya turtles hatchlings were released into the Caleria River Basin as part of a major conservation effort. The aim is to revive the population of this vulnerable freshwater species native in the Amazon basin. In the Peruvian Amazon region, scientists have discovered 2 new frog species which are found at an altitude of 3,280 meters in the ecosystem of Yanachaga Chameleon National Park. In Turkey, the historic 500-kilometer Lycian Way along the Mediterranean coast has been named one of the world's most beautiful walking routes. Lycia, meaning land of light, is famed for its scenic landscapes and ancient cultural treasures. Thousands of visitors are flocking to Egypt's Grand Museum in Giza as over 4,500 of King Tutankhamun's treasures are displayed together for the first time since his tomb was discovered in 1922. The 15th National Games opening ceremony rehearsal was held in Guangzhou, China. The Games, running from the 9th to the 21st of this month, are hosted by Guangzhou, Hong Kong and Macau and feature multiple sports and cultural events. In Mongolia's Ulaanbaatar, a store named Generous Love has been opened to offer free clothes and shoes to those in need. Launched by citizens, the store operates entirely on community donations, providing new and gently used items for anyone who needs them. Entertainment now, and the Hollywood prequel film A Quiet Place Day 1 is now set for its OTT arrival. The movie will start streaming on the 14th of November. Hollywood action film The Running Man starring Glenn Powell, based on Stephen King's novel, will release in theatres on the 14th of November. The sequel to last year's musical fantasy Wicked, titled Wicked for Good, will release on the 21st of this month. Pop star and actress Ariana Grande will lead the film in the main role. Hollywood action icon Brendan Fraser and Oscar-winning actress Rachel Weisz are officially coming back together for a much-awaited film, The Mummy franchise. The first look of Varun Dhawan from the war drama Border 2 is out now, starring Sunny Deol, Varun Dhawan, Diljit Dosanjh and Ahan Shetty. The film is set to release worldwide on the 23rd of January 2026 ahead of Republic Day weekend. Bollywood superstar Alia Bhatt and Sharbari's action spy film Alpha has been officially postponed, and the film will now release on the 17th of April next year. Bollywood star Kartik Aaryan's upcoming film Nagzilla, his shooting has begun. The film is slated to release in theatres on the 14th of August next year. Bollywood's comedy franchise returns as the trailer of Masti 4 is out now. The film, starring Ritesh Deshmukh, Vivek Oberoi and Aftab Shivdasani, is slated to hit cinemas on the 21st of this month. Malayalam horror comedy Inspection Bungalow will release on the 14th of this month on a major OTT platform. It follows a sub-inspector teaming up with a paranormal expert to investigate strange incidents inside a police station. South Indian superstars Prabhas's upcoming Telugu horror entertainer The Raja Saab will release worldwide on the 9th of January next year with no delay. Sports now, and the Indian women's cricket team touched down in New Delhi on Tuesday to a hero's welcome, or heroines shall we say, ahead of their scheduled meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday. Australia has announced its 15-member squad for the upcoming Test match against England in Perth this month. Young opener Sam Constas has been left out of Australia's squad for the first test, as Marnus Labuschagne has earned a recall and Jake Weatherald has also been included. England Test captain Ben Stokes has been awarded a fresh 2-year contract till the end of the 2027 Ashes series. Pakistani pacer Haris Rauf has been handed a 2-match suspension for breaching the International Cricket Council's code of conduct during the Asia Cup in Dubai in September. India's T20I captain Suryakumar Yadav has also been fined 30% of his match fees and 2 demerit points. Meanwhile, Jasprit Bumrah's actions in the final were also sanctioned by the World Cricket Governing Body, with 1 demerit point as well as an official warning. A confident Indian men's cricket team will eye a series lead against a depleted Australia in the 4th T20 International in Kerala on Thursday. In tennis, Novak Djokovic battled through a tough opening set before pulling away to defeat Chile's Alejandro Tabilo in the Hellenic Championship on Tuesday. 7-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams will compete in Auckland Classic at the age of 45 in January next year. Tunisian tennis star Ons Jabeur revealed she suffered with depression due to the demanding nature of the schedule and is called on to downgrade Masters 1000 tournaments played over 2 weeks. In football, Bayern Munich defeated holders Paris Saint-Germain 2-1 away in the UEFA Champions League on Tuesday to underline their credentials as early title favourites. Liverpool put a miserable run behind them with a dominant performance to end Real Madrid's perfect Champions League start with a 1-0 win at Anfield on Tuesday. Arsenal swept aside Slavia Prague 3-0 to maintain its 100% record in UEFA Champions League 2025-26. Portuguese soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo on Tuesday revealed that he plans to retire soon as he prepares for a tearful end to his glittering career. And that's all we have for the moment in this edition of Express News. For all the latest, keep watching DD India.